Madness of the particularly nice or romantic kind is an absolute prerequisite to a happy and successful life. Don't ever treat your little insanities as if they're aberrations that ought to be hidden from the rest of the world. Acknowledge them and use them to define your own way of living, the only life you have. All the most beautiful people in the world, the most creative, the ones who led revolutions, who discovered and invented things, did so because they embraced their own idiosyncrasies. There's no such thing as normal. Now, chamatkar means miracle, right and straightforward without any nuances. So my next lesson is the following. If you ever find yourself cheated of all your money and sleeping on a grave, do not fear. A miracle is near, either that or a ghost. But all you have to do is fall asleep, trust me. In other words, no matter how bad it gets, life is the miracle you are searching for. There is no other one around the corner. Develop the faith in it to let it take its own course. Make all the efforts you can to abide by its beauty, and it will not let you down. Use every resource you have been given, your mental faculties, the ability of your heart to love, and feel for those around you, your health and good fortune, all of the thousands of gifts life has given you to their maximum potential. Honor your life, please. Honor each gift and each moment by not laying it to waste. There is no real measure of success in this world except the ability to make good of life's endowments to you. Sometimes life's gifts arrive wrapped in all wrong damn wrapping, at which point we have to learn to do two things with them. Recognize them for what they are and gamble on our fear that they might be disasters. Being brave means being shit scared all the way to the party. Yeah, I'm sorry if that word is being very scared all the way to the party. But getting there all the same and doing the funky chicken in front of all your teenage kids' friends anyway. Let me just add on behalf of all the fathers of the world who have embarrassed their kids by doing this, it takes a lot of bravery, resolve, and grit to do it. So just do it. Don't let your fears become boxes that enclose you. Open them out, feel them, and turn them into the greatest courage you are capable of. I promise you, nothing will go wrong. But if you live by your fears, everything that can possibly go wrong will go wrong. And you won't even have done the funky chicken. Okay, I did a movie once called Kabhi Haan Kabhi Na, in which I was one of my favorite films, actually. And in which I was the victim of a lover's confusion. And my next lesson is precisely that. It's okay to be confused. Confusion is the root to all the clarity in the world. Don't worry about it too much. Don't ever take yourself seriously enough to be so clear about your own ideas that you stop respecting other people's. Our values are our values. They don't make us any better than anyone else. At best, they just make us different. Always try to see the other person's truth, because like every movie has a story, every human being has one too, and you have no right to imagine that yours is better than anyone else's. You can leave that silliness to my esteemed colleagues and me. Life lesson number 4, rears its head. Give of yourself to others. And while you're at it, make sure you realize that you aren't doing anyone any favors by being kind to them. It's all just to make you feel that sneaky little twinge that comes from being utterly pleased with yourself. After all, the one that gets the most benefit out of any act of kindness or charity that you do will always be you. I don't say this as many see it in a transactive or karmic way. It's not an I do good, I get benefit equation with some white-bearded figure taking notes from the heavens above. It's a simple truth. An act of goodness becomes worthless when you assign a brownie point to yourself for it, no matter how subtly you allow yourself to do so. As benevolent as your gesture might be, someone else could have made it too. Regardless of how rich, successful, and famous you become, don't ever underestimate the grace that other people bestow upon you just by being the recipient of your kindnesses. You might be able to buy your friend a rose for his or her birthday, but it's no substitute for a patient hearing of your sulky rants on a bad hair day. Sometimes things just happen, as encapsulated in another movie title of mine, Kuch Kuch Hota Hai. And you know what? They don't always add up. So my fifth lesson is this. When life hits you with all the force of its resplendent rage, the rolls isn't going to give you comfort. A friend's grace will. And if you can't find resolution as easily as you would like to, please don't panic. Everything evolves as you go along. Even disasters eventually resolve themselves. Give life the space to move at its own pace, pushing it ahead only by way of being kind to yourself when you're hurting or in despair. And you will be hurting and despairing a lot in this lifetime. You don't always have to figure things out or find an explanation for the circumstances you are in. It's more prudent to accept that sometimes there just isn't one. Ram Jane, God knows, that's what it means, as we say in Hindi. And as a priest responded to my orphan child character when I asked him what my name was in a movie of the same appellation. The boy plodded through 3 entire hours of film referring to himself by that fatalistic phrase, and why not? Who says that what we call ourselves is any definition of who we really are? And that's lesson number 6 for you. All the names you give yourself, or those that others call you, are just labels. You're not defined by them, no matter how flattering or uncomplimentary they are. What defines you genuinely is your heart. Ask or read about the artist formerly known as Prince, and you'll learn a thing or two from him, if you don't believe this insanely sexy Indian superstar telling you so. One of the biggest hits I made was an unexpected one, and for once the plot was neither meandering nor barking mad. I was the coach of a beleaguered women's hockey team. That went on to overcome its own problems, its struggles, and win a world championship. Its title was Chuckvane, an inspirational martial cry that Sikh soldiers used while lifting logs in order to make bridges across rivers on their campaigns against their enemies. It implies the will to get up and get on with it, which brings me to life lesson number 7. Whatever it is that is pulling you back, it's not going away unless you stand up and start forging your own path with all your might in the opposite direction. Stop whining and start moving, so to speak. Sadness and happiness have the same quality of transience. Life is a balanced exchange of one with the other. And this is lesson number 8. Don't attach yourself to either. They're both going to change with the same certitude. Take them with the ephemeral spirit of their impermanence and manage them with a healthy dose of good humor. Laugh at yourself when you're despairing. Shed a tear or two when one of my movie plots makes you hysterical with laughter. I need to tell you, in Guddu, we did consider donating a single eye, the guy, to his blind girlfriend, and both of them waltzing into the sunset, eye patch to eye patch. We didn't do that. Then there was Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gum. Yes. It means to be happy sometimes and sad others is the very beauty of a life lived in full measure. Why fail yourself by desiring one emotion and detesting the other? I have acted in 50 plus full-length films, or 60. If I took you through a journey of each title, we'd be sitting here forever. And you all end up fast asleep. So I'll wrap up with my last couple of words or lessons. They'll say, love people, love the world around you, love animals and birds and big cities and mountains, love dreams. Yeah. And love your work and love me forever, love your friends and love me forever, love your enemies and love me forever. But most importantly, my friends, love yourselves. Embrace all that this life has in store for you. Let your heart be as deep as the deepest ocean and as wide as the furthest horizon. Know that it is limitless. Love is not an excuse to grab or to hold on or own or to barter. It is the only excuse you will ever have to call yourself special. And if someone you love lets you down, don't fault yourself for not trusting him or her. Fault yourself for not trusting your love enough to forgive his or her trespasses. You never know what the future will bring, whether there will be a tomorrow or not. I died at a shockingly young age in a movie called Kal Ho Na Ho. I want to let you all know that how important your today is, your now is. Study hard, work hard, play harder. Don't be bound by rules. Don't hurt anybody. Never grow up and never ever live somebody else's dream. Remember, however many times you go wrong, no matter how many times you fail, despair, feel like this world is against you, in the words of Bob Marley, at the end, everything's gonna be all right. And in my words, हिंदी फिल्मों की तरह लाइफ में भी अंत में सब कुछ ठीक हो जाता है, और अगर ठीक ना हो तो वो अंत नहीं है, पिक्चर अभी बाकी है मेरे पास।